Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here, talking to you a little bit about this particular moon that is coming up on the 11th of June. Now, this is not a very nice moon, but it is a very healing moon for those of us that have been tired of doing things the wrong way around. So this is a full moon in Sagittarius, and it should definitely have a certain type of regret for some individuals because they haven't really done it and they haven't really been wanting to do it. Like, for example, if you didn't want to do your paperwork for ages and now you've done it, or you're just starting to. For some people it is like, I didn't want to study for ages and I have finally understood that I have to. So sometimes it does have a little bit of a burden, a little bit of a regret. It's like, okay, come on, let's go the right way. I've been going against the grain and now I'm going the right way. So there's quite a lot to be said for some people. This moon will definitely have an undoubtful quality. In some situations, it's like gold mine. I finally got it. Okay, I get it now. Sorry guys, I was going the wrong way. I get it now. In some situations, people are going to suddenly have a very sudden awakening. They will still have their style of life though. A lot of it will be kept behind, will be kept to a certain center point, but many of us are starting to see things in a very real and very resonant way. And some people are looking for greater grit, greater worth, greater resilience, or just greater numbers, greater achievements. In some situations, some cases, people don't really want a lot. They just want to understand things better. So it is a savior moon, a sailor moon, a savior moon. In some situations, it is going to be about people starting to get out of a trap or starting to get real about certain things that were binding them to a certain contract or certain behavior. And in some situations, there is no regret. There is just a very amazing wake-up call. And we now have to do that and that only. So we now understand, okay, cool, I get it. I was going the wrong way, or I was out of mind, or I didn't understand, or I didn't have enough education, or I didn't have enough means, or we were not in cahoots. Nobody knew what was going on. So this nice new hookup, a nice new timeline result is going to really help us give back to ourselves, back to our souls, and sometimes back to our ancestors or back to the people around us, that which actually makes sense now. Sorry for not being here, or like, sorry for not showing up. Now I understand what I was meant to be doing. I recognize where is the mess, where is the fuss, or where is just the non-connect, and I understand also what is divine. So Sagittarius moon during this time sometimes can be very wise, and sometimes it's not. It is hard to tell other people how you feel, and in some situations things are abbreviated, like no shows, people not calling you back, or things not being really understood, or not awake, or somehow not being in cahoots. And some people really definitely don't understand how it happened that way. And in some sequences you will just have no show from someone and no real true explanation, because not everybody has the time or the eloquence to really fully recognize what is going on, and not everybody has a way to explain themselves during this time. So some of the time could be a very awkward time. And for certain reasons, I've been also blogging on my Patreon and trying to urge people in recognizing the simplicity and the main givens, the main anchor points of a lifetime, or the main anchor points of your life design, and then trying to do the best you can do with those particular anchors. So you don't actually have to go outside of the square. You don't have to make sense of things in a very far-fetched and very arrogant way, because sometimes this moon is it's a very healthy moon, but it's very arrogant. It can be sometimes quite abrupt and quite philosophical as well, but it does things too fast, too soon. It could be sometimes too quick for other people. For example, you've decided that you're going to cut someone off and you never really actually told them, so that was a complete surprise for them. So the best idea I have for you is just to have no nonsense. Okay, just let the train of thought, let the train of events go as it was gonna go, and just enjoy the confidence and the esteem where you now see things are faltering, or things are breaking up, or they're becoming no longer interesting for you, because they do not have to be. Sometimes things will disconnect and become unglued, or there will be a disappearance. Let the mainstream chronolinear obviousness take over during this time. Things are just going to go in a certain sequence from here on, and try not to make any mess or any fuss over the top of that which is actually going on with you. So basically, also what I've done during the previous cycle is I've tried to simplify things a little bit, and also have a look as to where things are or are not important, and also where things are or are not impressive anymore. So this is where you basically have to come together sometimes with you or other people in the story and try to leverage this, try to decide and learn how to move this around in such a way that it is no fuss, no mess, and you don't have to really go for it where you don't have to go for it. You don't have to invest a lot of your energy, time, or your ideologies or your mind into something or somebody that may not necessarily be the best for you. So that's the whole thing, is efficiency, knowledge, know-how, recognizing where there is regret because you did things the long way or you did things the hard way, you went down the wrong direction, and it may not even be you, it could be even your ancestors, like going down the wrong direction, and now it's a nice state of recognition. But the best idea here is just to stay wholesome and be simple. Sometimes people really freak out. This is like letting a lion out of a cage, when people don't understand that they've been also kept alive by a certain idea, a certain dream that has now expired, or they didn't actually understand they've been going down the wrong route for the greatness of something or somebody else. They will have to now have a look and recognize, and it is going to be hard, it is going to be really, really raw for some people that have had blinders over their eyes for a long time, and that have also been protected by another person's thoughts or ideals. For example, to come out of a religious or spiritual group right now is very hard. To come out of an illusion, an elusive marriage, or an elusive plan that was never going to be. So basically what I have to say is that certain people, certain individuals will just have to get there on their own cause and effect, you know. So this is like, how are you going to get there? So this is better if you don't count on anybody. You just have to think about it. What can this situation do for me? What does this mean for me? How much time, energy, or resources do I have to spend going in this direction or the other? Like, what are the cause and effects of any direction or any vision that I'm about to approach? And yes, curiosity is really big during these times, but like, just try to think back in terms of simplicity, efficiency, and what do you actually need? Is it about having a home? Is it about having a system? Is it about having a job? Is this about a way of life or a way in the world? Is it about philosophies and dreams? Try to just get real and stay with the obvious. I understand a lot of people are dreamers that like astrology and such, and they enjoy the dreamy side of things. But I definitely believe that at the end of the day, if you are going to cook anything up during this part of the year, try to have a look if it matters for you later on in time, if it actually means anything, if it makes sense, you know. So is this about survival? Is it about success? Is it about investment, involvement? What is the grit like? What is the purity? What is the strength? What is the security in that which you're approaching during these days? Because it is not nice also to go into some kind of like flight of fancy and imagine things and become something or somebody that you don't actually have to become. So be very careful in terms of lifetime investment, because we are talking about some really big things now, although we are heading towards the IC, and we do have also Jupiter here in between Gemini and Cancer in this little nook of the IC. And we do have Mercury moving on, of course, into Cancer. So there's like a really emotional and troubled feeling. And a lot of people will just go towards poetry and trying to explain themselves in very cryptic and very melodramatic, melancholic ways. Some people are looking for the one. Some people are looking for something of worth. Sometimes people during this time may be very easily swayed or smoothed with poetry or art, or a state of an imagination, or there is going to be comfort and peace found in some imaginary states. But just make sure that you're in truth, and also see how far you've come, how far your ancestors have come, and just try to deliver yourself from stress and trouble. Like, what can I do to protect myself from stagnation, or what can I do to protect myself from health issues or hereditary health issues? So there's definitely philosophy needed. Philosophy is good. Philosophy is an important piece of the puzzle during this time, but just make sure that you are not looking out for something magical, mysterious, because you may just not have enough time for everything. So this is like about not being in mystery, not being in some crazy dream in between realities. Just try to structure your life so that you are certain that you have nice, simple stepping stones or building blocks from here onwards. So we do have a very corrupt and confusing time. For some people during this time, you may actually find that you don't have enough energy, time, money, or resources later on. Or you're just simply confused as to how your life is looking, how it's going to sit together. If you are confused, try to get unconfused and have a look as to also what this precious Gemini time has given you, as Mercury was going for Gemini. He may have provided you natural outcomes, like what is the best way to present your work, what is the best way to present yourself, what is the best way to organize your home, what is the best way to speak to your partner, what is the best way to do what you're going to do, what is the best, most normal, simple, associative way, and just trying to work with these simplicities so that you are building your life out of stable and normal things. And of course there is a lot out there, there's a lot in here. It may not be so simple for some people. It may be a very complicated, very emotional, and very sort of a cryptic way that their brain is working during this time, or it could be a very deep, like phenomenalizing emotional philosophy that a lot of people are undertaking, or there's just so much hurt, or like there are so many feelings built up underneath the surface. I would just say leave it alone. If it's murky during Gemini, while we still have this time of clarity, leave it alone and just use the most natural, neutral, simple, carefree elements in your life. You know, so if you have recently done something that worked, if you have bought something that works, if you have cut down a long, weird, complicated pattern with something very simple, if you have found your way, if you found your way out of this mess, out of this conundrum, if you got real with yourself, if you have found several elements in your life that have now since been simplified, and you now understand that your life had a certain type of erratic or asymmetrical quality, and you've now put it all into place, it is starting to click, it is starting to make sense. Work with that. Work with people that make sense. If you have friends, try to just work with them. Try to work with those people that are not connecting with you on the element of shame and healing. Oh, we need to cry through the shadow work, healing, crying, feeling things always, always, always and forever, trying to process an ancestral karma or trauma, trying to understand. At the moment, simplify it, make it basic as you can, just because you will need these simple numbers, simple thoughts, simple patterns to just work your way in the simplest way possible. So you are climbing, you are walking out of one reality into another with simple steps, like as simple and clear as you can make it during Gemini. And then of course we have a very complicated time coming through. Sometimes we have a complicated season. For these seasons, there's a reason. You know, and then we can't raise ourselves above a certain level unless we really go into the nitty-gritty. At the moment, the nitty-gritty is very simple. You're just walking through things. There are simple base realities, there are simple outcomes, there are simple solutions, and try not to get clever with it. And that's the thing that a lot of people suffer from. They're like, but what if? But what if my mind or my philosophy is a little bit above this? And this is where the ego is really trapped and really zoinked out, because a lot of people really have the temperament to question the status quo. And this is like a teenager sitting in front of a parent and being like, you're not the boss of me. I know, you know. So this is where we have the undiluted simple plans, cause and effects, and like the simple blocks of what life has come to be, and just like dealing with it as adults. And of course then we have these different messages and these different reasons and these different feelings, complexities, and things that can't even be said in words, things that nobody understands, like nobody understands me, nobody knows what I've been through, or people are too low in frequency to know who I am, or people don't understand like the full reasons, or like the full reality. So try to get out of that foolishness and make it very clear that you're just doing things that need to be done. Yes, robust, simple plans, simple networks of friends, simple reasons for things. Why wearing this? Why sitting on this? Why are you doing this or that? There's a simple reason. And then eventually you will just have to tie it down to those simplicities, because they're going to save you in the next month or 3. If you have nice, simple reasons, they will. open new doors and possibilities simply. Like, so we are looking at limits and simplicities, and try to just package your life just so, and not go over that which needs to be done in a certain space and time. So thank you very much. I hope this is a nice season for you, and just have a look at my short videos. I have plenty, and of course all the signs are slightly touched on in the short videos. But if you like to see the full glow of my work, take a look at my website. Of course I offer readings, and there is plenty of materials. There are plenty of materials also on Patreon. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.